This is Saturday the 1st of June. I can hardly believe it's June already. Dan and I have had a nice day in London. We just went for the afternoon because it takes so long to get there with all the roadworks. We parked up in Bexley and then got the train into London, which is about half an hour into Charing Cross. We went to Covent Garden and we went to the Actors Church and sat in the gardens. We like it there. There was a vintage clothing sale in the church hall. I didn't buy anything. Watching pennies at the moment, but we did buy some chocolates for my stepmom from New House, Covent Garden, which is my favourite chocolate shop in London. And we also went to the Crown Cafe nearby for a coffee, and I had a pastel donata and Dan had some chocolate and vanilla marble cake. It's one of our favourite cafes. It's just a normal Mediterranean style cafe. It's lovely though. The staff is so friendly and efficient. And now we're at home and the fur babies are having their supper. I've managed quite well this week on No Remedy. I still have several days to go before I have my review with Lee. There was a massive solar flare about 6 or 7 hours ago, and some people are reporting like a marshmallowy, unsteady feeling of being off balance as well. So there may be some more solar activity coming our way. It would be nice if the aurora makes another appearance. It was reported yesterday, I believe, in the Telegraph that Bill Gates is funding experiments into fiddling around with weather patterns to cool down the climate. Well, it's a fact that the climate does go through cycles every so many 100 years or so, and I think whatever changes have been taking place are natural, but the natural process is being interfered with by so-called scientific experimental stuff, and it is likely to affect our food supply. There's been lots of reports about possible tampering with our food supplies and the food chain, perhaps in order to find ways of controlling the awakening collective. We need to stand up for ourselves more than ever. Everything else is going well. I've had some good night's rest. I don't remember any particular dream in detail. I've woken up feeling reasonably refreshed. I had a poor night's sleep the other night. I awoke very early, but I didn't do a huge amount yesterday and took it easier. And this coming week, John is back to finish off the hallway and the stairs and the landing, and then it will be onto the garden. We're not having it all done at once because of the expense, but probably 2/3 of it. And in the meantime, I need to source an Art Nouveau style chandelier for the hallway. This is Monday the 3rd of June 2024. Earlier this morning, 6 of the planets were all aligned. So they're bringing in new higher frequencies, positive vibrations, and a whole host of other benefits, and hopefully we are all receptive and open to them and what they bring. Yesterday, Dan and I decided to finally look through my late grandmother's suitcase of documents, photographs and other items. The suitcase has been left unopened for about a year. The last time I had a look in there was to retrieve my great uncle's birth and death certificates for his headstone. He hadn't had a headstone since he'd been buried over 52 years ago, but that's something I wanted to put right. Since then, I haven't opened the suitcase, and after I opened it last year, I lit some incense just to cleanse it because the energy was a bit stale. Yesterday we opened it outside to release stale energy, and it was like really stale, but the contents were really interesting. I mean, we had looked through them briefly before, but not in as much detail. And among the belongings, I found a photograph of what appeared to be a lion tamer in a circus ring. A lion was standing on his abdomen, and there were other lions on podiums. And on the back it said, "To Miss Nellie, kindly remembering Clemento Merck, M-E-R-K." Dan looked up Clemento Merck, and it turns out he was a famous lion tamer and circus entertainer in the 1930s and the 1940s. And when I did some research, it would appear that he'd toured extensively with a couple of circuses. He spent the last years of his retirement in Northampton. He also did the circus in Northampton. It seemed he travelled about quite a lot. I have no idea how my nan came to meet him. From the writing on the back of the photograph, it's obvious that they knew each other as at least acquaintances. My nan enjoyed a drink and she enjoyed gambling. She was a very good whist player. It's possible that she met him when she was out and about in one of the whist drives or in one of the pubs, but I'm not sure whether he was a drinking man or not. The life of a circus entertainer is a nomadic one, and especially in those days, he would have been working extremely hard as well with the animals, because it's so easy for a wild cat to suddenly turn. The wild cat and the tamer must have complete trust between each other in order for it to be a successful partnership and a certain level of loyalty and even love. Clemento was married twice. Both his wives were also in the circus. One of them had been a trapeze artist and the other one was an acrobat. And he had a son from the first marriage and a daughter from the second marriage. And the son from the first marriage, it turns out, was a bear trainer. Anyway, it's a fascinating piece of history. It will be very useful to include in my family history write-up. I am quite keen to find out what other gems are in that suitcase. There is an autograph book full of names of the day in the 1930s, because my grandmother was front of house for the Adelphi Theatre in Slough in the 1930s. The photograph of Clemento Merck was signed 1938. This was in his heyday. Today has been quite busy. I've been down to the Emporium and gave it a tidy up and delivered some Avon, and I came home and did some jobs around the house. John was here. He's been doing some decorating today, and the decorating will continue tomorrow. I didn't have a very good night's sleep last night. I woke up shortly before 4 a.m. and just as I was dropping off, Dan's alarm went off, and that was that. However, I still seem to have a bit of energy left in me, which is good, especially as I have had no remedy now for nearly a fortnight. I seem to be doing okay. Today is Thursday, the 6th of June 2024. The weather was sunny this morning, but then it turned a bit duller this afternoon, although we still had some sunny spells. It feels quite heavy now, quite close. I think we'll probably have some rain later. Dan has been out and about tuning today, and he's at his mum's because he's had tunings in her area. John has been here and has been painting the woodwork. It's his wife Bev's 60th birthday today, so when I was out in Broadstairs, I bought her a card and some flowers from myself and Dan, and I'm wishing her a big welcome to the 60s club. Dan, of course, is still several years away from that milestone. I went to see Lee today for my consultation, which was a very good one. I'm feeling really positive. We had a chat about how things have been going. I've made a lot of progress. I'm able to tolerate more wheat than I was previously able to. And I can also eat pineapple for the first time for years. I've had pineapple twice now with no mouth ulcers or any unpleasant effects. We chatted about everything in general. I said I have more energy than I had. The fibromyalgia is eased somewhat. Having the earthing mat has definitely helped as well. There's definitely been some improvement though in my energy levels. A couple of times since I've been back from holiday, I've worked till 8 or even 9 o'clock in the evening, when previously I would hit a brick wall at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now I find I can keep going, and that's something that's developed over the last few weeks, which is good news indeed. It's great to have more energy. I do feel tired this evening, but then I have been very busy. I got back at lunchtime and fed the cats, and I've made a cake, and I've started on the bone broth for Dan. I grabbed the last bag of beef bones from the chef and butcher, which only cost £1.50, and they have quite a bit of meat on. It takes 24 hours in total to prepare and cook beef bone broth, and then it gets strained, and there will probably be enough to put in cartons in the freezer, and then the rest he'll probably eat fresh. Bone broth is rich in nutrients and protein and will help to keep him fuller for longer, and studies suggest it can help as part of a weight loss program, rather him than me. But he loves his protein, and I am sure he will enjoy it thoroughly. I chose my remedy again today. This time Lee wrote the names of the arsenicum album and also phosphorus on separate pieces of paper and I held them in the palm of my hand to see how they felt to me. The one that came out straight away as being the best was the phosphorus. Lee also gave me the remedy itself to hold, and also in tablet form, a lower and a higher potency. The LM1 phosphorus had very little vibration at all, so she went away and upped it to LM2, and that felt great. When I held the tablets, none of them felt like the right ones to me, so I came away with the phosphorus. And as I did last time, she suggested I try one bang, one drop once a day, and then build it up by instinct. It worked really well last time with the Arsenicum album. That method seems to suit me a lot, rather than being told how many drops to increase it to. Instinctively, I seem to know what is best for me. Some uses of phosphorus, I've made some notes. Primarily associated with physical and emotional symptoms related to heightened sensitivity, vitality and susceptibility to various ailments. Key characteristics. Phosphorus is often indicated for individuals who exhibit a heightened sensitivity and impressionability. They may have a lively and friendly nature, seeking attention and social interactions. Well, I'm friendly, but I'm not sure that I'm particularly sociable. Phosphorus individuals often have a strong intuition and a tendency to be imaginative and creative. Yes, I'll take that. Phosphorus is commonly used for conditions associated with respiratory ailments such as coughs, bronchitis and pneumonia. It's also employed for ailments related to gastrointestinal issues, bleeding disorders and skin conditions such as, for example, eczema, dermatitis. Dermatitis is my one. Phosphorus can be beneficial for symptoms characterised by weakness, sensitivity to cold, bleeding tendencies and a desire for refreshing cold drinks. I've always been a bleeder, so I take that, and I also will take the sensitivity to cold, though I find it hard to sometimes cool down when it's hot, and likewise I find it hard to warm up when it's really cold. Phosphorus individuals may exhibit a sympathetic and caring nature, often showing empathy towards others. They may have a tendency to be anxious, especially in stressful situations, and may feel a deep concern for the well-being of loved ones. Phosphorus individuals may also have a vivid imagination and may be prone to fears and anxieties. Not fear particularly, but yes, I do get anxiety, and I don't necessarily cope with stress very well, especially if I'm super busy. It starts to make me feel all flustered. Aggravations and ameliorations. Symptoms associated with phosphorus may worsen with changes in weather, cold air or excessive stimulation. They may feel better with rest, company and exposure to fresh air. I will look to see how the phosphorus affects me. I had a very slight aggravation at one point last time with the Arsenicum album, but slight aggravations are good because it shows that the body is responding to the remedy. What's bad, of course, is when I, for example, get rashes on my legs. When those tendencies persist, and in my case the rash gets really, really bad, and even if I scratch it, it's still really, really bad. Modalities. Symptoms may exhibit a specific pattern, such as worsening at night or with thunderstorms. I love thunderstorms. There may be a desire for cold drinks, aversion to warm or tight clothing, and a sensitivity to light or noise. I've always been sensitive to light and noise. That's nothing new. I don't like sudden noise. It makes me jump out of my skin. Key rubrics: heightened sensitivity, vitality, impressionability, respiratory ailments and gastrointestinal issues, weakness, sensitivity to cold and bleeding tendencies, sympathetic and caring nature prone to anxiety, aggravation with changes in weather, amelioration with rest. Therefore, it's always important to see how the individual is responding to any remedy. What is right for one person may not be right for another. I am hopeful that this will be a good one. I will see if there are any aggravations whatsoever, and if I leave it off and start again and it's bad, then I will contact Lee and then we can look at maybe changing the remedy. I have another appointment in 5 weeks' time. Touch wood, all will be well, but I seem to be managing my remedies really well, and Lee commented on this as well. On other things, the hallway and stairs are really taking shape now, not much more to do, and the chandelier that I ordered from Etsy, which is a 1980s chandelier in Art Nouveau style, arrived yesterday, and John, who is also a Sparky, will be testing it to make sure all is well and fitting it for us. I can see it's going to look absolutely magnificent, and indeed John says it looks like a stately home, and actually that's what I'm out to create, and I am queen of my castle. This is Saturday the 8th of June 2024. It's evening now and I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Dan is up really early tomorrow because he's going to do the Tilderston car boot sale. So he's gone to the spare room so he doesn't disturb me. The cats have been fed and watered and the litter trays sorted out. We've had a busy day. We went out and about into town. Dan had his consultation with Lee. I did a bit of shopping. We met at the Old Curiosity shop for a coffee. Then we came home and had some lunch after doing a bit of shopping in Iceland. Then we went down to the Emporium to give it a tidy up and to get a few things out for tomorrow's car boot sale. We found a beautiful chandelier, which is all crystal glass. It's a vintage one, and although I didn't want the drop type with all the tingly bits on, I fell in love with this chandelier, and so did Dan. It's quite Art Nouveau in style, so I paid for it and we're collecting it next Saturday. It's got a sold ticket now on it till next week. Super excited about that. Yesterday, John sorted out the new chandelier for the hallway, but was unable to find any of the correct bayonet bulbs in any of the local shops, and said he would get some from his supplier instead. As usual, we cannot find what we need in the local shops, but he will get it sorted and all will be well. It looks terrific anyway. I'm really into statement lighting. The house is going to be so amazing once it's finished. And then I will be short of a project to do, but that's a little while away yet. Dan and I have some decorating to do over the summer and also the autumn as well, when we'll tackle the living room. and we'll get some outside lighting done as well. There might be a few jobs to do next year as well, probably the outside of the house, repainting windowsills, and maybe look at the driveway if we have the money. Otherwise it'll just be tarting up the outside a little bit. I am doing okay with a remedy. This is the third evening I have taken one bang, one drop once a day of my new remedy, the phosphorus, and so far everything seems fine. No aggravations have started, even though it's an LM2 rather than LM1 potency that I'm starting on, so I'm really happy about that. I'm tired now, but that's just because we've had a busy day, and I did actually manage to keep on going this evening upstairs in my office doing paperwork and listings till almost 9 o'clock. Dan finished getting supper ready. We had a veggie chili which I'd made yesterday. He did some chips in the air fryer, and then he went to the co-op to get 2 bags of Too Good To Go for £6.58, and we had a lovely lot of stuff. This time there were a lot of meaty kebabs which he will absolutely love in his salads to take to work. There's 4 kebabs in a pack, and we had 4 packs, and there were like 2 packs of veggie sushi which he likes, and quite a bit of coleslaw and some salsa, loads of green beans and sugar snap peas. There was some new potatoes, there was some mashed potato as well which we put in the freezer, and some other bits and bobs. So again we had about £30 worth of food for £6.58. And we had a little snack. Dan had a pack of sushi and a banana and some nuts, and I had 2 slices of sourdough granary, one with peanut butter on and the other with Marmite, and a slice of mild cheddar. It's been a good day overall then, and I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep, probably with at least 1 or 2 of the cats. Miss Robin and Arthur were so cute just before now on the sofa. Miss Robin licked Arthur all over his face. She decided she wanted to wash him. It's a long time since they had such a tender moment, and he really enjoyed it. He's been such a sweet kitten today. He's adorable, and so is she. And Merlin, he has taken to lying on one of the dining chairs in the conservatory, just chilling. They're all so sweet. It's adorable.